one thing you did recently, unconventional thing that was super cool, was this crazy scavenger hunt that you did around, announcing the new album, and people had to find the secret blog from the Discord link and solve all these puzzles and mint NFTs. You walked me through the whole thing, and even with all your help, even I can't grasp all of it, and yet people figured all this shit out in like a couple days. So first of all, shout out to all the Avenged Sevenfold fans for being so smart and so dedicated. But also, what was your reaction to seeing them like crack all these like honestly really obtuse puzzles so quickly?
I was very surprised. After being gone for 6-7 years, I wasn't sure if anyone would care at all. Right. I mean, who has time for that? But then people got so invested that it was like, who has time for anything else? We're going to figure this thing out, and I was so impressed. And we have a really great team called BitFlips, who does our Death Bats Club, and they do so much great stuff for us. And they took this thing on, and they're computer scientists, right? They're like computer dudes that know how to build this stuff out so it can't be kind of, broken. And I'll be honest, we had a few things that we thought there's no way, and it was broken within hours. And then it was like we were scrambling on the backside going like, well, now what do we do? Like they're inside the gates, like they've brought all they brought their A game. So we had a really great time for 2 weeks, really throwing them for loops and doing things and introducing people to free NFTs and token gating and how things can move together, and built out these really cool things. And they seem to have had a really good time with it. And my whole thing is like, you just get this really cynical part of society who sits there and goes, this is so stupid. Just release the damn music, and it's like, okay, well, it wasn't coming anyways at the time. Like, we're not just going to drop it. This is something really fun for people that want to be engaged and like have a good time. And I think there's many people that partook in that had the time of their lives. They met so many fun people. They were spending a lot of time in the Discords. I mean, our Discord grew by 10,000 people, which is a lot for Discord. Mm-hmm. We, had over 350 people join the Death Bats Club after they got used to, these dealing with wallets and, blockchain. It really was like this almost like family building experience for a lot of people that like a bunch of people said, okay, we know you don't understand this. We'll take you under our wing and we'll show you the ins and outs. And it was really a really cool thing. And we know a lot of people had fun. Really impressed with BitFlips and how good they did. I'm going to start doing some press on that because I think, the tech world needs to know all these different use cases for what we did. We really were Web 2, Web 3 and beyond on this thing. And I think it will be looked on as a cool way to release the record, or at least the song.
Yeah. And I mean, you were really asking a lot of people. Like, this was not trivial stuff. I was in the Discord while this stuff was happening, and they were viewing the source code and screen sharing and having these voice chats and stuff. I mean, like, it was really amazing to see. Like, it played out exactly how I would think, you would want it to. And to see, you guys are an older band, to see an older band pull off something so bleeding edge, to me, was really inspiring.
And I think the one thing we got from the label was it's too niche. And I'm of the belief that trying to go wide is a fool's errand this day and age with how spread out we are in terms of like, there's no drivers. We're competing time economy against TikTok and video games and movies and all these things that when I was growing up, I didn't have any of that. I bought a record at Bionic Records. I put it on. If I didn't like it, I lived with it for a month, and then it became my favorite record because I couldn't just keep going forward. So my philosophy is that solidify those people that care and give them the best experience. And hopefully some of that bleeds out into a different audience, but trying to go wide and trying to do these things that are very, like everyone can get in this and everyone can do that. And like, let's make leaderboards and let's make sure everyone knows what's happening here. And, we had one company that we were talking to before we just did it ourselves. and they're like, we know you guys want to do the blockchain thing, but blockchain's very unhip right now. So we're going to cancel that. We're like, no, we want to do that. And they're like, well, you're going to turn off a lot of it. We don't care. We're just doing it just because it's not like, so if Ether's $4,500, then we can do it. But because Ether is down to, like, it just shows where people's minds are at, and they just follow everyone else and go, well, we don't want to offend anybody, and we don't want people to get turned off by this and do that. And that's what is so missing with not only rock, but just people taking chances these days.
Mm-hmm. And if you look at the amount of energy, like, people have this energy, you just got to give them a place to channel it. Like, my wife plays, do you know that game Genshin Impact?
Yeah.
My wife is like obsessed with it. And she watches all these like videos where people make spreadsheets, min-maxing all the different characters, and like have this team, they DPS at this much. And like, we should not ever underestimate or over whatever. Like the point is, like, people will geek out about something if you give them something cool to geek out about.
Absolutely. And I'm a geek for a bunch of things, right? Like, I play PUBG every night. There's things I go on YouTube and I watch about, the new Zelda coming out. And like, there's things that I'm going to spend a lot of time on because I think it's so well done, and it gives me a place to escape. And I think what we did with the scavenger hunt by really kind of toggling the line of like, it's kind of a wink, like, we're obviously in on this. We're letting you talk about it in our Discord, and there's like websites and leaks happening, and we're not saying anything. But we did it. We went so hard in the paint on it that it was like, okay, this is well done. This is worth my time. And I'm meeting all these people that are also invested in it. And again, it's so cliche, but I always go back to Kobe. It's always about the journey, not the destination. There'll always be another journey. Enjoy the journey. And it's all about the friends you meet along the way. And a lot of these people, they're all hanging out together, throwing their own parties, doing all these things without us. And I think that's incredible. That's a better reward than anything we could have given them. The music was coming regardless, right? It is.
Right.
So go have a journey, have fun.
And for the people who don't give a shit about the scavenger hunt, then they'll hear about it when you release the single, and they'll be happy too. And is it really niche if you had tens of thousands of people like actively participating in this? I don't know that you can really call that niche.
Well, I think what's happening with rock is they're really trying to figure out, how do you get that larger audience? Like when Drake puts out a record and he did that cool, he had a great, sort of campaign with 21 Savage on the last record, on Her Loss. And like, how do you get that attention? Right. Well, we're in a genre right now where trying to get that attention just looks very try hard. It doesn't, and it doesn't resonate. I think bands need to be more creative. We need to write better songs, and we need to have we need to have a reason to be at the table, in my opinion. Right. I remember when Kobe was, having it out with the Thunder, back in the day when KD and like Perkins and Ibaka and Westbrook and all of them were on the same team. And I remember when Kobe was taking them out of the playoffs again, he said, "You don't deserve to be at my lunch table. I got 5 rings. You don't deserve to be at my lunch table." And it stuck with me. It's like, do we deserve to be at the lunch table? Are we doing anything that creative? Are we doing anything that cool where it's like, whoa, that's rad? And now you can put on 1 million hip hop songs and go, like, that's trash. That's not what I'm into. But they're pushing the boundaries and blurring the lines all over the place. If you listen to a record like Yeezus or some of these things that come out of the hip hop world, even like Travis Scott's record with Astro World, or what's that song? What's the first song on that record?
Sicko Mode?
Sicko Mode. Yeah. Dude, Sicko Mode was more of an inspiration for G.O.D. on our record than anything else.
It was just 3 songs in one.
It's 3 songs, and they abruptly, and now our genre is going to go, oh, they forgot how to make transitions. No, we're showing you that we already know. We've already painted enough paintings in our 20-year career that we know how to make a transition. Now we're throwing out the rules and saying, we're going to actually do it in a way that makes you go, the fuck are you doing? Like, why? Like, why did you change keys on top of the key change instead of waiting for that one key to end? Well, because that's what we want to do. And cut and paste. Like, let's go. Let's do some cool stuff. It makes you feel weird. So I respect that about that genre. And I respect that about all that sort of music that has a seat at the lunch table. And I think we need to earn a spot back there. And I think you do that by being extremely creative, and you have extremely good bands that are okay to put their shit on the line. Like, look at Lil Yachty's new record. Like, that dude, like, yeah, we've heard Pink Floyd before, but we've never heard it in that way, with all the auto tune going to the cool notes and like all the like sort of vibe. Like, no one in our genre is doing that. No one in our genre is putting out 808 and Heartbreaks. Like, no one's like flipping the script. I think that's an interesting thing. Of course, this will be all over metal websites, and all the people that read those websites disagree to the 10th degree about what I'm saying. But this is how I feel about it.